Chapter 10, 17. Deep Scheme, Translator, Atlas Studios, Editor, Atlas Studios. On a larger image. Green, hurry, go! Yellow grabbed Green's hand, pulling him outwards. No, I will not leave. It can still be saved. Look at the immortal fetus goo. It is still alive. Green screamed, struggling. Let me go. That is my entire life's work. You think this explosion is simply an accident? Look at the remaining rank 8 immortal materials. Take a good look at them. Yellow called out furiously. Green's body shook. Clarity returned to his eyes. He had a realization. His forehead was covered in sweat as he said with lingering fear, "These immortal materials are all full of heaven's will." That was so close a moment ago. My sense of reasoning was influenced by heaven's will. Even after setting up this huge formation and hiding in Northern Plains' Earth Trench, I was still noticed by it. Only a complete otherworldly demon can be fully undetected by heaven's will. Us being discovered is nothing to be discouraged over. Give up on this attempt, we will start over again. Yellow consoled. Green was speechless, looking at the sandy area around him. He nodded solemnly. I've already told you your deduction is completely wrong. I have nothing to do with Red Lotus' true inheritances, Gu Immortal Dali said helplessly. The opposing time path. Gu Immortal was shrouded in fog. Their appearance could not be seen. Only the red lotus marking on their forehead was visible, bright and red. They smiled coldly. I used the time path method in Red Lotus's true inheritance to deduce. How can that be wrong? Red Lotus Demon Venerable's next true inheritance is with you. Dali was silently before replying. There is nothing else to say. Let's fight. Saying this, he charged ahead. You finally stopped evading. The mysterious Gu Immortal was filled with intent to fight. After a long battle, Gu Immortal Dali could not defeat the other party. He was suppressed by the Immortal Gu House. Graceful, chaotic duel stage. The myriad tribulation, grand clear space finally ended. Spectral Soul did not put up any resistance. His entire body was hurt by the countless green birds. His mass had shrunk by 1/3. At the same time, Heaven Overseeing Tower was prepared to strike. It seemed to be close to getting out of its phantom form. The surrounding gray fog had dissipated by half. This meant that the myriad tribulation, gray memory, was already half over. But the tribulations from the sky still continued. Another myriad tribulation was gathering on top of Spectral Soul's head. It seemed that as long as Spectral Soul was still alive, Heaven's will would not let him off. Myriad tribulation, dark oil poison. From the sky, drops of sticky, poisonous oil dripped down. The oil seemed to be boiling hot. When they landed on Spectral Soul's body, there was a sizzling noise as smoke rose. The oil entered the wounds created earlier, flowing in and corroding Spectral Soul's body. An intense process of rotting was occurring inside. Soon the poisonous oil turned from drops to streams. Countless streams were raining down from the sky over the surroundings. Spectral Soul's huge body was bathed in poisonous oil. It was rotting at an observable rate. His body mass was shrinking rapidly. But he did not do anything. Ying Wuxi, who was below, had an anxious expression. He wanted to call out, but he was in the grand tribulation earth collapse. Any movement or intense thinking would cause him to sink further. What is wrong with you guys? Both of you are acting like this, he grumbled, looking at Immortal Zombie Bo Ching beside him. From the start, Immortal Zombie Bo Ching was like a statue, not moving. It was as if he was dead. He was unmoved by anything outside. Thankfully, they were below Spectral Soul's feet. Being covered by Spectral Soul's body, which was above the clouds, the myriad tribulation did not cause any harm to Ying Wuxi or Immortal Zombie Bo Ching. A very far distance away, Heilu Lan and Tai Bai Yunsheng were assisting each other as they escaped. Behind them, a group of southern border Gu Immortals were chasing them. The xenophobia of the 5 regions Gu Immortals was quite strong. Even in the most open Eastern Sea, foreign Gu Immortals did not have an easy time. They were often ostracized and bullied by Eastern Sea Gu Immortals. In the earlier battle, After He Lu Lan nearly killed a southern border Gu immortal, the situation became uncontrollable. The southern border Gu immortals flew into a rage. These northern plains outsiders were so arrogant and bullying them. Not only did they fight in southern border, they injured them. Where did they think they were? Thus, the chasing continued. Not just that, they even gathered their allies and reinforcements. He Lu Lan and Tai Bai Yun Sheng were not in good condition to begin with. They were injured. They battled as they retreated under their skillful movement. They got farther and farther away from Yitian Mountain. No matter how huge He Lu Lan's ambition was, she did not dare to get close to that place again. That was not the stage for rank 6 Gu immortals. Not even rank 7s, and rank 8s also could only be side characters. That was a battlefield where Spectral Soul and Heaven's Will fought. The myriad tribulation, dark oil poison had already ended. Spectral Soul was now surrounded by another myriad tribulation. This myriad tribulation was unknown. It had broken the limits of historical records. It was formless and ethereal. Only a mystical aura that could not be perceived was around. The aura coiled around him, causing Spectral Soul's body to explode wherever it went. Spectral Soul was a soul, but it was so condensed it was like material. It was as if it was a soul beast. With the explosions caused by the aura, the huge mountainous body vanished. Only a framework of it was left. Huge pieces of the soul were blasted away. In the gray fog, another scene appeared. Old man Yan Shi coughed blood. He held heavenly secret immortal Gu as he muttered, "So Fang Yuan has spring-autumn cicada. No wonder he could refine fixed immortal travel and go to central continent's Hu immortal blessed land and obtain Dang Hun Mountain. He then destroyed Imperial Court blessed land and caused the collapse of 88 True Young Building. Since he is an otherworldly demon who possesses spring-autumn cicada, he has clearly escaped fate. This can be the best tool against Heaven's Will. Fine, I will conceal the tracks of you and Tai Bai Yun Sheng to prevent others from deducing matters about you." Qin Bai Sheng secretly watched the immemorial ruined bat, as well as the numerous calamities and tribulations in this area. This was the time when Dongfang Changfan had undergone possession and was going through tribulation. Dongfang Changfan was merely using possession to revive, but his main body's aura was perceived by Heaven's Will, sending such a terrifying disaster. In the future, when our main body tries to revive, the tribulations would likely be worse. The blazing glory lightning brilliance immortal zombie nodded beside him. "We can leave. This test against Heaven's Will has ended. Why is Chu Rong not back yet?" At this time, Fairy Zhang Yu appeared with a terrible expression. "Chu Rong is dead. The operation to take back Modest Thatch Hut failed." "What happened?" Qin Bai Sheng was mildly shocked. "Chu Rong is a Fire Path Grandmaster with rank 7 cultivation level. It is the inheritor of 3 Thatch Demon Immortal." Fairy Zhang Yu said, "This person was deeply concealed. His methods were ruthless. I almost failed to make it back. 3 Thatch Demon Immortal. Forget it. We will give up on Modest Thatched Hut. Before the commencement of our crucial plan, we cannot expose our identities over this immortal Gu house and cause Heaven's Will to attack us in advance." Qin Bai Sheng thought for a moment and said this, more Luopo Valley. Shadow Sect's group faced the central continent Gu immortals with grim expressions. Qin Bai Sheng stared at Feng Zhuge, sighing. Heaven's Will's attack is already here. In order to protect the pawn Fang Yuan, Yan Shi concealed his traces. Central continent's Gu immortals investigated Fang Yuan, and in following their clues, instead found us. "What do we do?" Fairy Zhang Yu asked. "We have no choice but to fight." Qin Bai Sheng gritted his teeth and said, "Cough, cough, cough." Old man Yan Shi coughed continuously. His expression was pale. He was so exhausted that it seemed like he would die from being out of breath. "I used heavenly secret Gu and consumed 100 years of lifespan. But it was worth it. I deduced that spring-autumn cicada's condition is bad. It has already been used." Seeing that Fang Yuan went to Yitian Mountain in advance, he evidently knows about the Battle of Yitian Mountain. With this, I can deduce that our main body has already failed once. Thus, he had to use that Red Lotus true inheritance to make Fang Yuan rebirth, sending him back to the past to change the future. Huh, thankfully, spring-autumn cicada is only rank 6. It is nothing scary. In that case, Fang Yuan is the best method of measurement. Looking at his future performance, I can deduce even more things. Would searching his soul directly be easier, or would it affect the entire situation? In accordance to my planning, Bo Ching and Seven-Star Child have already slowed down Heavenly Court as much as possible. This result should be a lot better compared to the last time. Old man Yan Shi sat in the pavilion, looking at the mountain and fog change mysteriously. On Zombie Alliance's side, the arrangements are set. We can use them as a backup. It would be best to preserve them. Sigh, I hope we do not need to use them. Using the newly obtained lifespan goo, I have about 20 years left. It is time to die. It is natural for my split soul to return to the main body. But before dying, I should help the main body deduce the tribulations of the following heaven-defying plan. A moment later. Cough, cough, cough. I didn't die? This means that I have already deduced all of the tribulations? No, it is because every wisdom path advisor of Shadow Sect, from generation after generation, had been deducing all along. We finally accumulated enough foundation to create a qualitative change. Heh heh heh, this is so ironic. Using Heavenly Secret Immortal Goo as a core, the Wisdom Path Killer move created can deduce the contents of the tribulations. But this immortal goo was created by Paradise Earth. He had tried to get rid of the main body's influence all his life. To think that after dying, he actually provided us such huge help. Seeing this, Heavenly Court's goo immortals were shocked beyond words. It turned out that Shadow Sect had already deduced the tribulations. That meant it was very suspicious that Spectral Soul was not moving inside the myriad tribulations. The mysterious myriad tribulation had gone away. The next myriad tribulation descended. Vine Dragon Tribulation. Countless green vines with sharp thorns shot out from the sky and ground, coiling around Spectral Soul's body. Soon, millions of vines surrounded Spectral Soul tightly, forming a huge ball. They coiled around him relentlessly, becoming tighter and tighter, stabbing into his body, and using the demon Venerable Soul as their nutrients. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. He is doing this on purpose. Look at that 10 extreme formation. Heavenly Court's goo immortals shifted their gazes around as they came to realizations. Because Shadow Sect had deduced the tribulations, they could make arrangements around them. Spectral Soul purposely did not put up resistance because he wanted to fuse his soul path foundation into this formation. As the nutrients for this formation, what is he trying to refine? He actually used his own demonic soul as goo refinement material. Not just that, with so many myriad tribulations around him, they are actually carving space path, poison path, chi path, and wood path Tao marks on his body to destroy his soul path Tao marks. They could harm Spectral Soul because these Tao marks were not weaker than the soul path foundation that he had accumulated for the last 100,000 years. Gasp. Sensing this, Heavenly Court's goo immortals drew in deep and chilling breaths. It seemed that Spectral Soul was not only refining himself, he was even using the power of the myriad tribulations to achieve his goals. But what was his goal? The 10 extreme formation was at the final juncture. In the dark fog, the ball of light was becoming brighter and rounder. Heaven, overseeing Tower Lord's heart, sank to rock bottom. He had a determined expression. He said solemnly, "We cannot go on like this. We have to ruin Spectral Soul's scheme. No matter what he is refining, we have to destroy this 10 extreme formation." But we are in phantom form. No, we have one chance to retaliate. This is something that generation after generation of heaven overseeing Tower Lords have created after researching. It has always been kept as a confidential secret, Heaven overseeing Tower Lord said. Heavenly Court's goo immortals heard this and were joyful and surprised. Why don't you use it? Heaven overseeing Tower Lord smiled bitterly. He told them the price for using it. Heavenly Court's goo immortals fell into deathly silence.